initially when you make art for someone, they'll give you a brief, and there'll be certain details in that brief that you'll need to know, or they'll need you to know, and there might be some questions about whether you should know more, or you might have a specific thing that adheres to your workflow that you'll need to know in order to successfully carry this out. For example, working in a metal gloss workflow might be new to you, and you might ask a few questions about that, and they can always give you some direction. If you're doing it on behalf of an art director, you can always ask them, and it doesn't embarrass you looking at the client, or you just find out for yourself, which is the safest way, and you're learning. Okay, so this is a made-up kind of company, and basically it's assuming that your art director is looking for some extra work from other companies to give to his art team, and it's your role to create this creature. Okay, so there's a detail about their turn-based strategy game here. They want an enemy creature that will be quite common in the first 2 levels of their game, which are very organic looking. So you can imagine it's like the insides of a body with the the flesh and the ribs and the dripping, goopy, organic material. All these kind of details must feature a part of the body such as a heart, brain, or lungs. Okay, so this creature must be like a living, breathing thing, but look like one of the major organs. Whatever you can find will be creative. Okay, so we might choose to make it more like a muscle, or like a kidney type creature. We could play with that. Should be around 5,000 polys when complete, because if 5,000 tells me that they don't have a lot of budget for this character. It's not a main character, it's just a kind of a common character, the common creature that's in the first 2 levels of the game, so it doesn't have to be super amount of geometry for it. And you can imagine if they've got 2, 3, 4, maybe multiple ones of these in the same screen, they want it to sort of stay in budget. The creature is quite big by the looks of it. They're going to go for 2 meters high, 3 meters deep, and 2 meters wide. So in that sense, 5,000 might not be enough, but as they say, it's not a strict number but a guide, so they're kind of aiming at that kind of low poly count, but it's not super low, like it's not completely rectangular. They need the textures in 2K, so if you don't know what 2K is in textures, if you take your calculator and you type in 512 and you do plus equals and you keep pressing equals, you'll get multiples of 512, which are kind of like okay to use for like powers of 2, but there's also a list that you could maybe find powers of 2, and you'll see that they're 512, 1024, 2048 and 4096. They go higher than that, but for games generally you'll never use anything less than 512 these days, and not very much higher than 4096, depending on the size of the game, or if it's a big budget title you might use higher than that. Okay, so they prefer the metal gloss workflow. Now metal gloss is a channel packing method, and when I say channel packing, it takes the red, green, blue and alpha channels of an image, and the shader itself will extract from each of those channels. So you can put grayscale information into the red channel alone, something into the green channel, something into the blue channel, and something into the alpha channel, and all these things will correspond with the UVs of your character mesh. In this case, the red channel is what's read from to get metalness, and the alpha channel is what's read in to get the gloss values. So red channel and alpha channel, green and blue channels are not used, so you can just leave those black if you wanted to optimize the size of that file. Okay, should be about 2 meters high, 3 meters deep, so we'll need to check this in Maya and obviously export that to Unity to make sure it's coming in at the right scale. I usually check it with a Unity cube, so we can do that. Character will need to be rigged with 2 animations, idle and a basic attack. We will inform about more. Okay, so this is just a made up thing about there be more animations, and you could go ahead and make more animations if you wanted, but for this brief we just need to do an idle and a basic attack. Okay, please email us with concepts before committing to the final production or 3D modeling work if possible. or general updates will suffice if you tend to have a Swift concept workflow, a ZBrush render of the high poly, for example. So they basically want us to show different phases as updates. So they might want to see the concept that you've come up with, whether it be like a drawing or a sketch, or a ZBrush sculpt as your first kind of draft at it, and then they can maybe say, oh, we like this, we don't like that. And that's a good idea, because you create a rapport with the client. They get to see that you're doing something, and you get some feedback. So if you're kind of in the dark and guessing at things, like getting lost a little bit inside the work that you're doing, maybe stressed out a bit, like, is this good with that work, just show it to the client as an update. And if they say it's not the right shape or whatever, then don't feel hard done by. Just take their advice on board, because you'll learn from that as well. You'll be like, oh, okay, that client likes it that shape. There's something that I'll remember for the next client, that clients like things to be a certain shape. And you can use that to sort of streamline your mind and understanding future clients. If you've got a series of clients that you've done work for, and you know how the shape and the form and if they've gave you reference material and all these things, then you'll learn from that, like, that's the way to do it, instead of just guessing in the dark and trying to find what's in your mind that's the most creative, purest thing alive. There's no such thing. You have to build up that visual library by looking at references or finding stuff that works or been done before. So for this type of thing, we could look at references of organisms. We could look at games that have used organic creatures, such as Resident Evil 2 or whatever. We can sort of gauge these things as, well, if I've seen these things, other people have likely have seen these as well, and that's what will be familiar to them. So you can go on those notes. And on this note, that's now time to move to the next part. Thanks for watching.